Happy Monday, everyone. I have another vintage handbag here to show you. It's been a while since I bought a vintage handbag. So this was my latest purchase from last Saturday. I went to my favorite consignment shop in Boca Raton. It's a luxury consignment shop, and I found this gem. And good thing I always ask what they have in the back, because there are things that they haven't put out on their website yet, and things that they haven't even processed or assessed for display. So I asked if they have any vintage Cartiers or Gucci. So and then they brought this out. And this doesn't scream of Gucci at all. In fact, it doesn't look like, to an ordinary eye, of course, this is just a plain vintage bag. That's it. Because, sometimes vintage bags just almost look alike. Look at the structure, the features, and the hardware and detailing. So this is a very, very typical vintage bag with a gold chain hardware and a very boxy, very structured, handbag. So, and this is in the small size, so you would know right away that this is vintage. Okay, so as I've mentioned, I really, really love the metal detailings and hardware when it comes to handbag, because the accents just make it stand out from the rest. And she said that this is a dark blue, navy blue handbag, but I said I don't see any of that. I just see plain black. Maybe if I go out in the sun and really, really look at the study the color, but even here in the picture, in the camera, it's just plain black to me. Okay, guys. So this is a vintage Gucci. So I think the only tiny indication that it's a Gucci is the hardware, although this is not their typical hardware, because Gucci is known for its horsebit hardware. And this doesn't look like horse, but it looks like an inverted horseshoe. But I just love, love, love the chain, guys. It is so, it's still very, very shiny. It doesn't show any tarnishing at all. It's so well polished. And it looks like those rapper blings, it's like an Italian woven, they call it, I think, a Rollo kind of necklace or keychain. So this is actually long when it comes to shoulder bag, but of course not long enough to become crossbody. This is a very, very ladylike handbag, and I would say from casual to formal, so you could actually rock this bag. And so this is the front of the bag, and you just lift that. Okay, and this is the side of the bag, and the back is just plain. Just plain. I love the sides though, and it doesn't have any protective feet studs because it doesn't need to. Okay, sometimes it's quite hard to open this, because you really, really have to open to line up the hole so you could open it. So this is how you close it, but then you lift this and then, okay, there you go. And it says Gucci in here. That's the logo crest shield, which says Gucci. And it has one open pocket here, and just one zipped compartment. Oh, it does look like blue here now. I can see that. Okay, and it does have a serial number on the opposite side. The interior reminds me of my previous Cartier Panther, La Panther handbag. And sadly, I have consigned that to the real, and I never, I never profited from that bag. It was, I lost a lot of money on that, from that single handbag because I bought it for $600, and the real only sold it for $300. So plus 50%. So I only got $150, guys. So I've lost a lot of money. And it's just that sometimes I'm just happy to let it go, but I wish I had kept that because it's a very, very rare handbag, and it was in absolutely, absolutely gorgeous condition. So yeah, so as I was explaining, this just reminds me of the interior of the bag because the serial number is written on the opposite side, which says, so this must be around 1980s because Gucci handbags, I think they started around that time, 1980s. Same thing with Fendi, if I'm not mistaken. So the serial number is 00195-059-1631. So yes, it's a very, very simple handbag. The only unique feature is that the sides, look at the sides. So it's kind of open, and yeah. So this is a very, very pretty, very, very pretty handbag, guys. Sometimes you have to get the hang of it. Like until now, my Barry Kisselston cord handbag, it is one of my best handbags so far. However, it's very, very difficult. It's very challenging to close it. To to close the handbag, like just you really, really have to sit down and hold it before you could close it. But it is very, very secure, guys. So you don't have any problems when it comes to pickpocketing or something. Well, I've never had any pickpocketing experience here in the USA. But yesterday, let me just tell you one funny story. Yesterday, I was at Marshall's, so after our Sunday Mass, we went to Marshall's, which is just, probably not even half a mile, it's just half a mile away from the church. So we went there, and then I was using my Bibliotech Prada handbag. So I put it, in my cart, and I was looking at some blouses. And then suddenly it disappeared, and I knew no one was there. But sometimes people can be so sneaky that when you're too busy looking at something, they might just not that I was really, really nervous yesterday because it's a very, very expensive handbag. And so I was like, and all my wallet, my credit cards, and my phone, they were all inside. And so I was like panicking already. So I was screaming at my kids. I was calling out by their names, and I was really, really surprised because I thought I was gonna go to the customer service to report a theft, and only to find out that my youngest son actually took it with him, which he doesn't normally do. Of course, because it's a little bit weighty, and he's never taken my bag. So I was scolding him over there. I was telling him off, never, ever, ever do that again because all my valuables are inside. Plus that bag is a very expensive bag. I wouldn't mind if it's just one of my cheap vintage things, but that's a very expensive bag. And why would you take it? You don't normally take it. So I was really, really upset with him. And he said, well, I was trying to do something. So I was like, well, never ever do that again. You have to ask permission and never ever take mommy's bag. So I was very upset with him, just so because I had a scare. All right. So anyway, this is, as I was telling you, I'm going to show you a comparison, okay? Vintage handbags, guys, the hardware are really, really, I think they're gold plated because they don't tarnish. And I'm just comparing it to my other vintage bag. This is one of my favorites. It's a suede bag, and the same, this is probably in the 1950s, guys. It's a black You might have seen this in my black bag collection. Guys, I suggest that you also watch that. It's one of my most watched bag collection, my black bag collection. I used to have tons, but of course I've already disposed. The thing, guys, is that I just have too many bags and I just can't keep them all. So I only keep the ones that are really, really memorable to me, and I consign or sell those bags that don't really, mean a lot to me, if you know what I mean. Those not hard to find, I consign them. So look at this. Although this is not woven, it's like a chain link still, but not, this one is just closely knit, so it's really, really woven. This is just, but this one you could double it up, or you could shorten it if you want to. Okay, so there you go, guys. So I just love my vintage bags. They are really, really beautiful and really, really well made. So though actually it has come off already because of age, but it's just a beautiful work of art. So guys, there you go. And yeah, we'll see about this one. It just has some minor scratches, of course, what you expect from a vintage bag, but it's just a very, very minor flaw that I could correct by myself. I could actually just get a shoe polish, but I don't want to do any of that, or I could just send it in for complete restoration. But it looks really, really still, it looks good. It actually looks good. In fact, the bags of today, the designer bags, you could scratch them up easily, but this one, guys, is really, really well made. So there you go, vintage Gucci. Okay, bye.